Hear me out. I'm 100% sure that somewhere in the multiverse there's a starship crossing the galaxy named Enterprise, the designation NCC 1701/D. There on the holodeck is Captain Jean-Luc Picard looking suspiciously like Nicolas Cage, entering the holodeck to play a black and white holonovel called Dixon Hill. Hello, this is the review of Champions, and I'm your host, Grandmaster. With me is a powerful panel made up of the finest champions Sakar has to offer. Let me introduce them to you. First up, voice only, we have Lokismom. How are you?
I'm doing real well.
That's great to hear. On camera, we have Merv. How are you?
Fantastic.
Always nice. And last but certainly not least, we have the original Mr. Taylor First. How are you?
Amazing.
Spider. Yeah. I get it. Today we're talking about Spider-Noir, the streaming show on Prime starring Nicolas Cage. As I kind of snuck in there. But before we do, I want to ask you to help us out. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you really want more of us, you can join our ranks on sakar.freeforms.net. Just click on the link in the description. Consider this your final warning. After this, we will talk about the show in depth. So if you haven't seen it, do that first. And I do recommend to see it. Absolutely. Ben Riley, he's hired by a man who suspects his wife is cheating on him. And we go from there. Murph, you saw the show. Your quick impressions?
Quick impressions is I loved it. I watched it in black and white because there was the option, and I thought that fit the vibes. I absolutely love the noir vibes. I go in and out of loving, old noir films and stuff like that, and I thought they captured it pretty well. Maybe it was just the black and white vibes and Cage's accent, but loved the visuals. I thought they were charming, and really fit well. I'm not sure how many of them were like super practical, but they looked practical to me, for the most part. Obviously not like the people on fire and stuff, but other things. Um, yeah, and I just really had a good time with it. I thought, they're, that the hammy kind of over exaggerated accents and stuff like that just appealed to me so much. I thought it was a really well put together, short show.
Yeah.
So I liked it a lot.
Well, I'm moving on to Loki's mom, and I want to thank you for pushing us to review this show because that made me watch it. And actually, I'm grateful that you did force me to watch it because
Okay,
I
well,
loved
you're
it.
welcome.
Yeah, so I want to hear your quick impressions on Spider-Noir.
Well, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was looking forward to seeing it mostly because Nicolas Cage was going to be in it,
Mm-hmm.
and otherwise, I could maybe take it or leave it. So I did watch it right off the bat, and I'm really glad that I did because it was just above and beyond what I expected. They captured I think that comic book, the 30, when the comic books would contemporary ones would sort of go back to the 30s, and I'm thinking like maybe Dick Tracy. It tended to get a little campy, but they managed not to do that with this film. I mean, they actually took the noir aspect seriously, so I
Mm-hmm.
appreciated that. Yeah, and it was just a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Taylor. Uh, I saw your comment on the board, but I will not spoil for the viewers. Your quick impressions on Spider-Noir.
I really enjoyed it. It was a really good show. I watched it in black and white. Also, I really appreciate that they did the black and white version of it. Now, of course, it's not real black and white. It's a digital facsimile of black and white. Real black and white is on film. But I do appreciate them going to the effort, and they did a really good job with it. I thought the story was interesting. It was, a whole different universe of Spider-Man. I liked all the characters. And the actors, I thought, all did a really good job. The tone, the mood, I thought they just really put a good effort into they knew what they wanted to do, and I think they really succeeded at it.
Yeah, I have to agree with the champions here. Um, I also watched it in black and white, partially because the strange thing was that on my phone, where I started watching in the morning, I could see it in black and white, but when I went to my TV, there was no option to switch it to black and white, or it didn't ask if I wanted to watch it. So some of the episodes I watched on my phone, some on the TV, depending on where I was. I'm gonna admit I watched it today during all my busy tasks. So, but I loved it both ways actually. So that sounds strange, but I loved it in both options. So the black and white, absolutely, I love the vibe it gave me, and the noir aspect was also great. Yeah, there was not much wrong with it, and I think Nicolas Cage was born to play this role. Uh, he was excellent in the show. I think he was at his best. He was Nicolas Cage as well as Nicolas Cage can be. He in a movie or a TV show. He touched that in the show, and I absolutely loved from start to finish. I was hooked from the beginning, and again, thank you, Lokismom, for making me watch this. So there's that. Speaking of Loki's mom, do you have any criticisms of Spider-Noir?
Well, no, there's really hard to find any. I mean, they it just every episode I thought was they were all equal. You know, there wasn't any really dips in any like we in the past. A lot of things they had these filler episodes. There wasn't any of that. It was in a lot of ways slow paced. It took its time, but there was so much going on that you didn't have to have all that action all the time because it was the atmosphere and the story, the detective story part that is so important to in noir because or really we call this noir. This is really detective, the more of the 30s detective genre before noir actually came in. Noir was more came along after World War II, but even so, it's still that gritty crime. People get caught up in things that they really don't want to, and Ben Riley's been trying to just be a regular detective. He's been trying to get away from Spider, the Spider character, and the trauma and everything that he went through to become the Spider, and then losing his fiance and I'm not sure. I can't remember if Silvermane was responsible for that or not. But even so, it was Silvermane was just, and Brendan Gleeson was just wonderful as this. He was just perfectly. He never got upset. He was just this very lovely Irishman that was just as evil as could be. One thing I hated was we lost Lucas Haas kind of early in the series. I thought he was just really slimy. I just kind of like. Uh, some of those old characters from the 30s and 40s that would play those. I can't think of the actor's name, but there's several
Mhm.
of them that you know who I'm talking about. But one little criticism I will say when they would get into the whole the experimentation that happened during World War One over in Germany, and they would say, and the Germans did this, the Germans. Well, no, I don't. It would have been. I don't think the Germans, the Kaiser ordered this science program, but yeah, or maybe he did. But anyway, it would have been maybe an offshoot, more like an early version of Hydra or something like that. That would have been maybe more responsible for it than just the Germans. But yeah, that was kind of I think a little harsh. Anyway, but Nicolas Cage, yeah, he has always been one of my favorite actors, though I've always felt like he was not the greatest actor in the world. Certainly, he's learned his craft over the years. I think the last few years, decades, he's gotten much, much better than when he started out. His biggest strength, though, is his comedic abilities and his timing, and he's able to display it here. Plus, bring in the dramatic aspects of the character and in the storyline. So yeah, he was a high point. And this show actually got a lot of primetime Emmy awards, but not one for Nicolas Cage. So that's boohoo on them for not recognizing his work in this. But um, yeah, the rest, what's the young actress name? Lee Jun Lee as
Mm-hmm.
Kat Hardy. She's just the perfect femme fatale. I mean, she really has anime Wong sort of vibe going on for her, and a little bit of an exotic, and then of course the side characters, the secretary and the reporter who's in Ben's corner and helping him. And then there was the little kid. I liked him. He was he was kind of in and out there a little bit, but the little smart ass kid was a part of it, and yeah, it was just very enjoyable. And like I say, I don't know if they're going to do another series of this, but it won't surprise me if they won't have a season two. I hope they do.
Yeah, I hope so too. It was great. Taylor, I think you understood why I opened with Dixon Hill, because it really had that vibe as well, uh, including the secretary that wants to quit and everything.
Yeah, and the secretary was great. She was a great character.
Yeah,
But they really did a good job of capturing that feel and this homage to those old movies from the 30s and 40s, and it's even just the way a lot of the shots were blocked, a lot of the imagery really harkened back to that. So I really appreciate that they worked so hard to get that done. Nicolas Cage was wonderful. Uh, he was able to do the dramatic and add some humor to it and add some just complete eccentricities to it. I like how he as it went along, he informed us of how after he had been experimented on or had gotten infected, that he almost lost his humanity and he had to learn to control it and basically learn to be human again. And he including controlling his weird body movements, which sometimes he wasn't able to do, and became all spidery sometimes. But then the other part was he had to relearn to communicate, and he said he did that by watching movies, which is why he was doing impersonations of Humphrey Bogart and James Cagney and others at different points of time in the movie, which made that make complete sense and not just a joke. Um, I like that they directly referenced quite a few movies. I didn't make a list, but like on the signs in the back, the marquees above the theaters, there were names, titles of movies, and in one scene they even mentioned "Freaks" by James Whale, which is a great, very very early horror movie from like 1931 or something like that.
hmm
Uh, so again, I appreciate that. I appreciate all the actors. Um, Again, just acting the part, not just the part on the script, but the part of the archetypes that they were playing. Silvermane was great. Um, Lee Jun Lee. It's funny that Loki's mom mentioned that Lee Jun Lee. I reminded her of Ali Wong. Um, have you ever seen the movie Babylon with Margot Robbie, which is set in sort of a fictionalized old Hollywood in the late 20s and early 30s? Um, Lee Jun Lee is in that movie, and she actually plays a character that is very much inspired by Ali Wong. So she was definitely. No, someone else noticed the similarities as well. But yeah, I just think it was all done really well. I love how they worked the sci-fi into it with the experimentation and the mutations and how they got their superpowers. All the different villains were great. The superpowered villains, Megawatt and the Sandman, and the guy who was like Tombstone sort of ish in this universe, the big, extremely strong guy. But yeah, they all played it well. They all played it straight. It wasn't all campy and jokey and winking at the camera, but the humor was there, just like you know old comic books.
hmm
Stan Lee always infused a lot of humor into his comic books, but they still had the serious storylines through them as well. So I thought the costuming was great. I thought a lot of the camera work was great. I thought the action scenes were good, appropriately staged for the uh, um, genre that they were trying to recreate. They didn't make it look like kung fu and the Matrix, anything like
hmm
that, but they still had the superpowers and the all the excitement to it. So I thought the action scenes were staged really well.
Yeah, they made it look
People,
like Tai Chi.
yeah, that's right. Of course, he had Tai Chi. It calms people. Yeah, Nicolas Cage is only able to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really don't have any complaints about it. Now I did watch it all the way through in black and white, but just out of curiosity, I went back and watched a little bit of it in color, and I think they did a really good job in the color grading and of the color episodes as well. Everything was very colorful.
Mhm.
Um, the furniture, the clothing, the wallpaper and decor and everything
Yeah.
was all very carefully colored, so that if you watched it either way, you would have had a satisfying experience, I think.
Yeah, I don't know about the black and white stuff, but what I noticed when I watched some episodes in color, and I really didn't notice that while the episodes I watched in black and white, was the use of mirrors.
Yeah.
They and really quite a few times especially there was a scene. I think it was after Silvermane killed his henchman, and the start of episode 5. Um, um, uh, the cat cat was singing, and
Already.
she
Yeah.
had a blue dress, and they had the mirror work in there. That was an amazing shot, an
Yeah.
amazing scene. How that looked, and I don't know how that looked in black and white. I didn't have time to really watch it, but in blue, in color, it worked really well. And
Yeah.
there were certainly also a few moments where they captured Nicolas Cage. Um, you were actually look I was actually looking at the mirror instead of him. Well, I could look at him
Hmm.
directly, but I was looking into the mirror. They're really well done, those shots.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that. Not just mirrors, but other reflective surfaces as well. There were some points where there was like a glass on the table with
Mhm,
reflections very clearly visible in them. And that's hard
mhm,
to do, I assume. I don't make movies, but it looks like it would be hard to do if I was trying to do it. Not to get the camera reflected in there, you know?
mhm.
Yeah, I think that mirror scene was an homage to Lady from Shanghai with
Hmm.
that Orson Welles had made with Rita Hayworth.
Yeah.
Oh, mm.
And I also appreciated the whole sort of mad scientist portion of the story with the woman scientist who was trying to figure out how this mutation worked and trying to undo it to save her son, whose mutation was rapid aging.
Yeah,
And it all fit
plain
together really well,
simple.
and it all flowed very well for the what was it, 6 or 8 episodes, eight
Eight. Yeah.
episodes. Yeah, none of it dragged anywhere. The story moved along very well. Everything fit together. All the pieces came together where and when they needed to. The relationship, the femme fatale relationship, is she really into Riley, or is she actually really into Sandman, and she's just using Riley? I thought that was all played very well, kind of, um, you know, uh, Philip Marlowe type stories there. But yeah, I have nothing to complain about. I was actually pleasantly because I wasn't 100% sure this was going to work, but pleasantly surprised. I thought it all worked really well.
Yeah, I agree. It worked really well, and yeah, even the episode that you could mention was a little bit of a filler, but it really wasn't. But the liberate
Hmm.
the in the bunker where she's experimenting on Cage, and you get to see a little bit of his background, and wow, uh, and he's hallucinating, and then they bust the bunker and free or kill the scientist and her son. Even that episode actually really flowed, and it didn't bother me or like oh, this is holding up the story like a side quest inside this big story that's going on. No, really well made, and yeah, and yeah, Merv. I had the same experience as you. I saw it later on the board. You were watching Spider-Noir, and all of a sudden Garrett walks in. I loved it. I love Andrew Robinson. He is so great. And then to see him, all those years later, still going strong, I loved it. But you have the floor now. Do you have any complaints about the show as a whole, certain episodes, certain scenes, whatever, or it's just one?
Yeah, the it's very small, very mild, but I like Loki's mom. was kind of sad to see the character Winston, Lucas, played by Lucas Hosco, so early. They kind of surprised me. I was like, "Oh, this is a memorable face. He's playing this part pretty well." He's like the slimy underling of Silvermane, and I'm curious to see what. Oh, he's dead, and I was like, "Okay." And I know why, because they were making room for other characters to enter and exit and things like that, and it was played on Silvermane's paranoia. But I was like, "Oh," I was just starting to kind of enjoy this guy as the antagonist that's kind of on the level of Ben Riley at that point. Um, really, that's about it. I enjoy the femme fatale kind of Cat. Is she into Flint? Is she into Ben Riley? Is she into everybody? Who knows? Um, but it did at the time. It kind of came out of left field for me. Like she's like really in love with Flint Margot to the point that she's like possibly gonna die, and then she's like making out with spider in the next day or whatever. That's what it felt like to me. But I still like it. It hit all those beats. But that's really about it for the complaints. The praise is everything else. I already said I love the style. I love the comedy. I love the effects, whether it be prosthetic or CGI, especially like in the bunker scene, whenever you see a lot of the experiments gone awry and things like that. I thought that was actually really interesting and like fun to look back and see all the stuff. Um, as far as characters go, loved the spider. Janet stuck out to me as awesome. She pretty much can do this on her own. I don't even think she needs Ben Riley. Like that's how, like in the latter half of the season, that's kind of how she felt to me. Like she could basically run this thing, and I like that they gave her that nod at the end whenever it shows that like they're partners. She's not a secretary by the end of it. Like they're basically I forget what the name is. It's like Riley and Ruiz or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved Kat and Flint. I like their dynamic and relationship. I really like I mean there's so many cool Spider-Man villains and characters and anti-heroes and stuff like that. But like I've always liked Sandman. I also really like Tombstone. Now this version of Tombstone is not exactly the same as like any other version of Tombstone. He's way nicer, way more likable in this story, even whenever he's working for the bad guy. But I still like that. I like he brought what I like about Tombstone in general is like his working man appeal. Like he treats crime like a business. You could say like all mob types do, but that's kind of it. He also has superpowers and he's like a mobster type. So I always like that about him. But the one that really stole the show for me was Dirk as Megawatt. Who was really hammy and overly dramatic, but whenever every character, especially every antagonist up to that point, was kind of like this stern, strong, silent, gruff, tough guy, he stuck out like an amazing, breath of fresh air, in all the scenes where he's like spouting Shakespeare and zapping people, and he's got all these quippy comebacks and stuff. And for the first like episode or whatever that he was in it, I assumed this was a version of Electro. I didn't even know the Megawatt character existed, but now I'm finding out that there's a whole different electrified Spider-Man character that I need to know about. So that was really cool. Yeah,
I must say, sorry to interrupt you.
yeah, go ahead.
If I have one complaint, it was that character.
Okay.
Because at a certain moment, his bravura, if that's a word, like his presence, started to annoy the crap out of me. He was too talkative. I was a bit like Team Flint Marco when he said, "Is there any time a moment where you should just shut up?" Well, I actually agree with him. Please, for love of God, just for once, shut up. But that's just basically my only complaint about the whole show. That this character, it was a little bit too much. But yeah, I understand if you like it, that you love it, and then. But anyway.
Well, I do think that's what they were going for. When the characters in the show even comment on the exaggerated performance of another one, I do think they were kind of going for that. Maybe not to annoy you to the point that you're willing to shut off the television, but like he's not supposed to be a not annoying character. Like he's supposed to be an annoying character.
I understand that, but yeah, at a certain moment, I was okay. Now I know.
It,
Shut up.
it yeah, it came through the television too much. It's fine. He really reminded me of the '80s Running Man movie. There's a character in it called Dynamo who's like an operatic electrified villain. That's all I was thinking of the whole time. And I was like, even though he was probably my least favorite villain in that movie, I really liked him here. And it's probably just because he didn't come in till late, and then he played contrast to so many other characters that were, wildly different personality wise. But I do think it was a prop for me. It's fine if it's not everyone, but
Yeah,
in general, I really just love this show. I don't know if they plan on doing a season two. It works perfectly fine as just a one off little thing, but I'm here for it if they decide to go down this route again.
yeah, I agree. Both is fine, and the moment you say like, okay, I could see a season two, that means they hit the nail on the head with a hammer. I mean, it was perfect, and I would love to see more Nicolas Cage as Ben Riley. Absolutely. Um, you know what? It also reminded me a little bit of the whole show. If they ever do a crossover, they can just throw in the Joe Johnson's Captain America, the first Avenger movie, like that had that same vibe a little bit. I mean, even they recreated the same streets or something. Taylor, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a scene where Ben Riley visits Silvermane on the roof of or on the balcony of his um, hotel room, and you see Silvermane talking to Ben Riley, and in the background you see like a painting. It
Hmm.
felt like they used a painting again for this show, like the effects of the early days. Or did I misinterpret that?
You think they used it from Captain America, the same
No, no,
painting?
no, no. Just that they used the painting like in the background, like that, like they used to do for like also in Star Trek. They use paintings of old planets and stuff like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And
You're
and
saying
he
that
was
the
standing in front of the painting, and
Oh, okay. I see
it
that you're
felt
saying.
like it,
You're saying
like
you're saying the view was a painting, was a matte
yeah,
painting.
yeah,
Yeah, it did look like that. It did very much look like that, which of course was the standard uh, for movies and TV in Hollywood before we got digital stuff.
yeah, yeah. But I actually loved that it looked so much like a
Yeah,
painting, like, and it didn't bother me at all. I actually loved it. That it was like old fashioned style effect, basically. Because
yeah, it
yeah,
looks
that
great.
city view, that skyline is long gone, of course. So they
I
can't
think
recreate.
I I think that's called matting.
Yeah,
When
matte
they would
paintings. Yeah.
matte painting, they would have it, and they would actually hang the painting. Would be it would be in perspective so that it looked like it's in the background, but it's actually probably in front of just right in front of the camera, and the
Yeah,
scene is and the actors are further back. So it's kind of weird how they would do that, but yeah.
yeah. But I actually really loved it that they brought that back for this show, and
Hmm.
it just feels right. I don't know why, but it just feels right.
Hmm.
And if my memory is correct, they also did stuff like this with that first Avenger show, that movie. That's why I brought it up. But yeah, um, so yeah. In general, I think everybody really, really loved this show, and if there's a season two, we will definitely be watching and reviewing. So, fingers crossed, people. But to see how much we love this show, we're going for a rating. And I'm going to start with you, Taylor. Can I have your number for the whole season of Spider-Noir?
The entire season, huh?
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
I get it. I get it. Merv?
Oh wait, 9 out of 10 for the color version.
Okay. Yeah. I'm still going to count it as a 10. Merv?
I didn't watch the colored version, but give it a 9 out of 10 for the black and white version because it was awesome.
Okay. Lokismom?
Oh, just a quick shout out to the two other henchmen that work for Silvermane. I believe their names were Perry and Pudge, and they
Oh
kind
yeah.
of always manage to get out of the way. I really love they're sort of a little bit of comedy relief, and they were kind of reminding me of Damon Runyon characters. But the actor I was trying to remember, and Taylor will appreciate this, that Lucas Haas reminded me of is Elisha Cook Jr.
Oh, Elijah Cook Jr. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in a lot of
Yeah,
of
he was in
those
the
types of
Maltese
movies.
Falcon and a
Yeah,
million
yeah,
others.
absolutely. And as far as my rating goes, it's going to be a 9.5, and I saw the black and white version.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I kind of saw both, and really enjoyed both. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. It was just great. I don't know even. Yeah, I will know why I deduct that point because it's that annoying guy that just wouldn't shut up. But that's just a personal preference. So don't.
Well, I think what it is by the time you kind of feel sorry for Sandman and Tombstone because that none of them asked for this to happen to them. They were over there serving their country, but by the time this TV show's over with, you're pretty happy that whatever his name is, Magneto, Electro, or
Yeah, whatever.
whatever,
Electromagnet.
Megawatt is gone.
Oh, didn't
Yeah.
he? He ended up getting hit by the train, didn't he?
Yeah,
Wasn't that how he
yeah.
ended?
I'm,
So that was
I'm watching
satisfying,
that
right?
scene right now. He's got the bolts coming at him, and he's
Midnight Train to Georgia, something like that. Um, by the way, shout out to the usage of the Amy Winehouse song in the last scene. That was great. Yeah, so fits. But that will conclude our review of Spider Noir season one. We hope season two comes. Yeah. We hope you have enjoyed our discussion today. If you did, help us out. Like, share, and subscribe. And join our forum at cigar.freeforms.net. You can also check out our latest episode in our Star Trek project about Season 7 of Deep Space Nine. Yes, and we will be discussing our top 10 episodes in that review. So check that out. Soon, we will be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in our Infinity Saga Legacy series. And as far as movies go, we have plans to review both The Odyssey and Spider-Man Brand New Day in the coming weeks. So lots to look forward to. For now, I want to thank you all also on behalf of our champions and wish you to be safe and be well. Bye.